Well, we can't talk about the Blues Brothers, as we've touched on before, without talking about John Belushi.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a difficult subject.
No, not now, but I still love him and, remember him every day.
Fair to say that it took you a long time to get over his death?
It did. It took a couple of years. We were, he was 33, I was 29. We had these hit records, hit movies. We were about to embark on a new venture, touring and more music. So it was tough to lose my partner at that time, and also the way he died. Unfortunate that he died that way, and it was a good warning to our community that this could happen.
But he died of a drug overdose.
Yeah, he died of a speedball concoction. Now he had, he'd been smoking and drinking, and he was out of shape. I often think if he was in better shape, he might have come through it. But again, the woman who concocted it up and gave him the injection, she didn't want to kill him any more than I did. It was a mistake, and she felt bad about it. It's just John played in that arena, and that's dangerous. But he was a wonderful literate man. He knew all about theater, and he read books and plays, and he counted among his friends Lauren Bacall and Judge Jim Garrison. And I often think today that if he was alive, he would be probably a director on Broadway, directing plays and working with the greatest people in theater. I think that's where he would have been headed, yeah.
Well, the record shows, and I'm just going through it here, that once you went through the most intense period of mourning about John Belushi, you then embarked on what one could argue was the most successful period of your career, certainly the hardest working career. You had one project after another, nearly every one succeeded. Was that or was that not your effort to put it behind you, to get your mind on other things?
Oh yeah, definitely. A script was offered to me, Dr. Detroit, turned out to be, of course, one of the most important movies I made because I met my wife, Donna, on that. And we have 3 lovely children and, hanging in there after 36 years of marriage and 37 years together and, still there. And so that was the most important movie. That was offered to me by a very compassionate executive at Universal, Sean Daniel. He offered me the movie, and he backed me up. He said, "No, we've got to give Aykroyd, we got to get him back." And so I did that consciously, that movie, and was able to meet Donna and was able to kind of sort of get my career back. That wasn't a success, that movie, outright. But it kept me in the game, kept me in Hollywood, kept me in the community, and then I was able to go on and write other things, sort of sponsored by them. But that was an example of actually corporate compassion, if you will. The executive said, "This guy, he's got a gift and he's hurting and he needs. We're going to give him this job," and he put his career on the line to back me in that film. And,
corporate compassion, a lot of people think it's gone badly out of fashion these days.
There's not much of it. I don't know. Although you see, people in industry, especially these moguls in tech that are doing a lot of good for the world. And I hope they keep doing it.
When the Blues Brothers were hot, really becoming a worldwide phenomenon, there was some criticism along the lines, I'm paraphrasing here, well, here are 2 white guys who are taking basically black music and black moves and making a fortune out of it.
Well, I have 2 words to say. Eric Clapton. I mean, Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
If Eric Clapton can do it and come off and revere the music and pay tribute to the music and make it successful, I think it's okay for us to step in there. I don't think it's a valid point. The blues is for everyone. There's so many great blues artists who aren't African American, but fair enough for people to protect the culture against cultural appropriation. But see, we did it in such a spirit of reverence and love for those performers. And the other thing we did was, Atlantic Records said, "Well, just you're doing all these cover songs. Just offer the writers a percentage. You can get these. You can own all these songs yourself. Just give them 10 grand." We didn't. All the people that wrote songs for us, we said, "No, we're going to keep mechanical royalties only. That is, performance royalties only. The original songwriters, they keep their royalties. We ain't making no special deal. Eddie Floyd gets his money. Donnie Walsh gets his money. All the people who wrote the songs in the show, all of them got their full publishing because we loved these artists. We loved and respected them. Yeah, and we weren't going to do wrong by them."
Dan, what's the worst thing that's happened to you in your life, and what'd you learn from it?
The worst?
The worst thing that's happened to you in your life, and what'd you learn from it?
Well, I suppose John's death, and I learned that when friends reach out to you, you better get back to them quick, because I missed a phone call from John. He left a message on my answering machine, and I was at a period where I really didn't want to talk to him because he was being so uncompliant with what his wife wanted and with what we wanted. And so I let a day go by, and that day may have cost him his life. And I let a day go by before responding, and it was too late. By the time I'd heard the message, he was gone. So that, when your friends reach out to you, get back to them pretty quick. I think that's the lesson right there. And I live with that all the time. Now, maybe it might have not occurred, but I missed that phone call. I heard his message and didn't call him back, and then the next day it was too late.
I want to go back to Saturday Night Live. You helped to make Saturday Night Live. What do you think is the key to its survival? Let's face it, it's been on television and been very successful for a very long time. That doesn't happen very often.
Well, I think one of the first things is Lorne Michaels. You know, his drive, his understanding of humor and talent, and the whole composite of the show. I think that's the reason it's there, and his tenaciousness and hanging on and fighting the network to stay with the sense of integrity that the show always had. I think that's the primary reason. And then also, from that, he picks just great talent. Look at the people that came after him. Us, you know, Hartman and Farley and you know, Eddie Murphy and Farrell and oh man, Wig and, you know, McKinnon, all the stars of today and all the stars that came after. He picks great talent. He picks great writers. And I think that the political situation in America now makes this humor more necessary than ever. And his, you know, his choice of the material to treat the political arena is also outstanding. The way he has got Alec there doing Trump, and the way he had Jim Downey writing all of those pieces in the Bush years, and the people that he hires to parody the politicians. And we never, on Saturday Night Live, never took one side or the other. We just presented a parody of what the world is seeing. So it's not like they're like Jim Downey, who wrote some of the great material about Bush. You know, he's a Republican. You know, you'd think that was come from a Democrat's heart, but not really. And so ain't too many divisions there politically at SNL. So I think it's the political arena has always driven it. In our time, it was Nixon and you know, the tapes and him praying before the portrait, and that sketch of Belushi and I, him as Kissinger, and then Carter. We treated Carter and Ford, and so Saturday Night Live has always been a place for necessary satire, and the political situation in America makes a rich field for it.
You impersonated President Nixon, President Carter. Can you still do a reasonable Nixon?
Well, Dan, thank you so much for having me here today. Of course, a lot has been said, but in the end, I believe that I did the right thing. I may have let some people down, but for me at that time, see, the president, he always said, the president is not accountable, Dan. And I think that's what the people should realize in the end, in the final analysis. I mean, you know, the guy is like, you know.
Don, don't want to put you on the spot, but it's always amazed me you could do that, which is, and not patting my own part, I was at the White House as correspondent, of course, during the Nixon years.
I know,
right on the money. But then to turn around and be able to do Jimmy Carter, a completely, totally different personality and character.
Yeah, well, you know, Jimmy, he was kind of casual in ways of delivery, and that Southern style, and nice. He just came across as a nice person, you know. And, you know, and the way he talked, that's that Southern drawl, and the way he made eye contact with people. It's the thing that he stressed, and it was fun to do him.
But your old boss there, Dan, I've got to say, well, the Kronk, this is Walter Cronkite. And Dan Rather, you filled my seat and my shoes beautifully. There's not much more I can say. The career of Dan Rather lives up to what I set for him, and I believe he's the greatest newsman the world has ever seen.
This is comedy, folks. Clearly, Mark,
well,
it's comedy.
You're up there in my estimation,
well,
anyway.
I appreciate that.